Now listen, y'all. J.Cole is definitely like top 3, and he's not 3 in my category, in my top 5 favorite rappers. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting like a J.Cole interview in this capacity with someone on ESPN. It's very interesting to see like some of my favorite rappers not necessarily doing interviews with some of the hip hop platforms like a Joe Budden or DJ Academics, or shoot, even I don't know, like $1 Million Worth of Game, Drink Champs, whatever, so on and so forth. Anyways, let's check out J. Cole sits down with Bob Myers, lead by example. He's probably gonna be talking about like his, professional basketball career.
You know what I mean? Like see it all the time and believe it, and whatever you gotta do to protect that belief. My version of protecting that belief was I wasn't sharing this.
Yeah, you
I
weren't.
wasn't even telling my mom. She knew I rapped. She knew I did music, and to her it
Don't
was
let
like
somebody knock you off.
I'm not even gonna give my own mother the chance to try to bring me back down to reality. It's not gonna happen.
That's real, bro. That's real.
Lead by Example with Bob Myers is presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. You bet, you get with Caesars Rewards. Must be 21 or older.
Welcome to Lead by Example. I'm your host, Bob Myers. Today, J. Cole.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
what's poppin', man? How you doing?
So,
And then we got Dreamville next
and I
weekend,
saw each other.
Dreamville Festival.
my first time I met you was on the phone.
Yep.
And somebody said, "Well, you want to talk to you?" And I'm thinking, like, what's this guy gonna say?
For sure.
And what struck me a little bit was this guy. He loves basketball, and everybody. A lot of people walk around and say, "I love basketball." You actually.
Nah, this
kinda
dude
feel
loves
it.
basketball.
Does that ring true to you?
Nah,
This dude literally moved to a whole nother country just
even
to
right now as we speak,
play
I
a season
might
of
have
basketball.
played, in a week and a half, maybe going on 2 weeks, and I feel the missing of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I feel the missing of it. But I love to watch too. But
Yeah.
really,
It's playing.
It's playing. Yeah, for sure.
So growing up, you had your mom and your brother, right? And that was it. And you were born in Germany. You were born overseas.
Yeah, I was born in Germany. My mother and my father were together, and then like relatively early. I don't even think I was 1 before
Yeah.
they like split up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was born in Germany. People think I'm German. That's the other thing, though. People think I'm German. The other thing, people think my mom is German. She's not German. Like I think if you go to like Wikipedia or something,
Yeah.
I'll meet random people. It's been years though, by the way. I've never actually had. Even
I mean,
moments to say it 'cause it
technically,
never came
you
up.
are German, but it's like,
it's been years,
you're
and
not
somebody
actually
come up to
German.
me, be like, bro, my mom's German too. Or boom, boom. I'm like, bro, my mom's not German. Like,
You're
let me
just
get
born in
my mom's
Germany.
from Michigan.
Yeah.
But she was in the army. She went to the army when she was like,
I thought
soon as she
his
turned
dad
18,
was in the
kinda,
army,
like, got out of town,
and that's why.
went to the army, met my dad in Germany because he's from Arkansas.
Yeah.
So they're just like 2 kids
South.
that like one from Michigan, one from Arkansas, and they both left like as soon as they could. They got out of their hometowns and like met each other in Germany. Had my older brother, had me, and then shortly after they had me, like within a year, we were back in the States. I feel like as a kid I was always self-sufficient. I wasn't needy of
Hold up.
brother had me, and then short hometowns and like met each other in Germany. Had my older brother, had me. Shortly after they had me.
Why was I always thinking J. Cole was the older brother?
I feel like as a kid I was always self-sufficient.
I always thought he was the
needy
older
of-
brother.
of another person's attention or boom boom. Now sometimes I wonder if that's just because being the second kid and just being a kid to a young mother, you know what I mean, and a young father, and then she would have a boyfriend, and this would be a young stepfather eventually. Sometimes I wonder if it's just being a kid of young parents.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Naturally learn, don't expect, don't expect.
Nobody's gonna.
There ain't nobody coming to save you. You know what I mean? For the most part.
You got kids now.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it's also a lot of parents won't let that happen to their kid. They don't let their kids grow. They save them all the time. So you kind of have the opposite.
That's real.
You're kind of like
Yes, complete opposite. I had a
Right.
very long leash.
So what
that I'm
about
very
discipline?
grateful for. I missed that part. Like the
You
discipline.
mean you didn't need it? Didn't have it?
No. The discipline that I had. It depends on what type
Well,
of
I mean,
discipline
okay,
you're talking
discipline like you had to step out of line, like something in your life as a kid Who grabbed you and said you can't do that?
Disciplinary action.
What was the dumbest, stupidest thing you did?
At 6 years old, I was smoking cigarettes regularly around the neighborhood.
Insane. How does that
What?
even happen?
Just being around the
Come on,
neighborhood.
bro.
So you're 6.
They be smoking cigs.
And the thing was, my brother's 4 years older than me, almost 4 years
And
older
he's
than
10.
me.
He's smoking too.
No, that's the wild thing. It was just I was always
Bro.
hanging around the older kids in the neighborhood that he was hanging around, and they were smoking, and I was young and fearless.
6 years old.
and trying to
Smoking
be cool,
cigarettes
so it
at
was
6
like-
years old is
it
nuts.
was, oh, y'all smoking? Like, let me see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course, we're all out there kind of like
Yeah.
young parents.
What did
Like,
Nancy Reagan
it's
say?
Not like my mom knew I was doing this. She
Yeah.
was just, my
Yeah.
mom comes from a town. First of all, my mom got 10 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
She comes from or maybe 9 brothers and sisters. She comes from a massive family with a single mother, like type of broken home type of thing where they all raised each other.
Sure.
And she comes from a small town where it was like, yo, you leave your door unlocked. She comes from where you can let your kids.
That's a
like, I was
different-
out, and she
different
she
time.
allowed me that, probably like she was just
Yeah.
out there. And I think back then it was probably a little safer to be just out roaming. So
Yeah,
while I'm
yeah,
out
not today,
roaming,
not today.
Of course, my mom has no clue that her 6-year-old son
Yeah, I mean,
would try
if
that.
I see a 6-year-old
It's wild.
smoking,
It's
I'm
insane.
looking at that kid going,
Bro, that's
this
some-
kid has no shot.
Yeah.
So nobody.
That's some
nobody
third
said,
world
hey,
country stuff.
No, see,
Come
that's
on,
that's
man.
the life changing moment. This
Like
was
child
literally a life
soldier.
changing moment. I guess it's kind of getting to what you're asking. I literally remember, I'm 6 years old. I'm smoking with these with these kids in the neighborhood that are older than me, and to them it's funny. They're 10 themselves, so it's funny for them to see like. Nobody's really worried about me. Like, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? They just like they're 10 and smoking cigarettes.
They got their
you know what I
own-
mean? So
yeah,
like
yeah,
they're not. They're not.
Yeah.
It's not like they're gonna say, hey man, maybe you should do that.
Right.
So I'm smoking with these older kids. Boom, boom. This is going on for 2-3 weeks or something. And one day, I'm down the street at a house where it was happening at, and my brother comes up, and I asked one of our homeboys in the neighborhood, I'm like, yo, you got any cigarettes? I'm 6, trying to be cool. I'm like, yo, you got any cigarettes? My brother hears this for the first time because he didn't know what was going on. My brother hears it, and he's like, what are you talking about? Like, Jermaine, shut. Like, he's shut up. That was my brother's energy. Shut up. Like, you're like, Jermaine, shut up. Like, what you talking about? I'm like, oh, he don't know. He don't know. I'm like, yo, tell him. Don't I be smoking?
It's like, you
Don't I
thought
be
she was
smoking?
cool.
Like,
Bro
proud
thought
of
he
it,
was
trying to be
cool,
cool.
smoking at 6.
And,
Y'all know I be smoking
and
these cigarettes.
So they confirmed it. They was like, yeah, he be smoking. So right away, and looking back in retrospect, I'm so grateful my brother did this. And at the time, I was so like,
Pissed probably.
I felt so like it was treason. But my brother was like, I'm telling mom. And he walked home. And I'm 6, of course I'm dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't care. Like at 6 years old,
already.
I was like, you're gonna go and tell mom, and then she's gonna ask me, and I'm gonna say I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I saw it.
You saw that.
I saw it in my mind. I'm just
Smart
gonna
kid.
say I don't
Yeah,
smoke.
I'm just gonna lie.
So this is how dumb I am. Now the cigarettes are available. I go into the backyard right at this time, and we start smoking the cigarette, and I'm being cool, boom, boom, boom. And so my brother, about, 20 minutes later or something, walks to the backyard where we was at. And he was like, Jermaine, he was like, Mom wants to see you. I'm like, all right. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
like,
you
all
got
right.
to
So
smell the
I'm
cigarettes
walking
on you
home,
now.
no fear. I have no, there's no worry. No worry at all.
Nothing's gonna happen.
And I walk in the house, and she's like, Jermaine. I'm like, yeah, Mom. And she's like, what's this I hear about you smoking cigarettes? I'm like, huh? I'm like, huh? She's like, come here. And I walk
Smell it
close
on
to
you,
her. She's
bruh.
like, say something. I was like, what do you mean say something? And when I said it, she bent down.
Yeah.
And, she smelled this
Damn.
cigarette smoke on my breath.
Caught.
And this was the life-changing moment right here because I saw her face.
Yeah.
When she smelled like cigarettes on my breath, her face was like, it was like heartbroken. It was disbelief. It was like crushed.
Yeah.
I remember the look on her face, and she was
bet.
like, you have been smoking. Like, it hit her like that.
Yeah.
Her baby, I'm the youngest of 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And her baby, who's 6, A, is capable of smoking cigarettes, and B, capable of lying dead to her face about it.
Yeah.
So it hit her, and I'm pretty sure. And my mom was not the type to give the whoopings that would like be relegated to my stepfather down the line, but I think I got one right then and there because it was just like an emergency situation that I feel like she had to do. But honestly, I don't even remember the whipping because, matter of fact, I know she gave me a whipping because her boyfriend, who would end up becoming my stepfather, came home, and he usually was like the disciplinarian, and he was like, when he told me, he was like, I heard about what happened. He was like, I'm not gonna whip you because I heard your mom already did it. So she must have whooped me, but my point is, I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
All I remember was her face.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think that was the life-changing moment, to where after that I didn't need much correction. I became a self-corrector, is because that was the first time that I became aware that like, oh, my actions can hurt someone else. Like things that I do, my decisions can hurt somebody else. You know what I mean? Not just
me.
me.
They say that a kid doesn't even develop that until like 10, 11, 12, like that, to think outside of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So to get that at 6, to be like, whoa. Obviously, you were like growing up. I mean, that wasn't, to figure that out. First of all, to be smoking at 6.
No wonder this man is ahead of his time, bro.
I mean, and then to remember, I don't know if your reaction was, when you say you moved other people, was it like, I feel bad that I hurt my mom, or was it I really screwed up? I don't know how a 6-year-old even does that.
I think it was, this person I really love and care about. I let him down. I lied blatantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was doing something
disaster kid.
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't.
So you had so then from there you learned that was a moment for you. Like you remember that. Obviously,
that's a big.
30 years later,
that's a big thing in my life. That never went away. Yeah, for sure.
Then so your brother had a part. Your mom. When I talked to you when we met, I asked you about when you thought you were.
I hope none of y'all are smoking cigarettes. Weren't smoking cigarettes at 6 like J. Cole, man. It's like, don't be like him, bro.
When you realized.
I mean, it depends because, like.
That's crazy.
Music, do you mean, or like versus playing basketball?
I mean, here's the only way I can relate to it, because I don't have two things. I don't know if you feel like you have two things. It seems like you do. It seems like you love basketball. Obviously, you love music. I don't know if you rank them. I only know when people ask me about basketball, it's when I answer that, I say it's the only thing I know in life. It's the only thing I know, and I say, when I'm driving my car and I see a basketball hoop, or a game of 2-on-2 or 1-on-1 or 3-on-3 or at the park, and I can't not look. I have to. So I can't not be around basketball. So that's the only way I know how to describe basketball. But when you say music or basketball, a lot of the players I'm around want to be musicians. A lot of the musicians want to play basketball. But I don't know if you love those two things the same.
Not even, I guess, analogy or comparison.
I don't know. You tell me.
No, I
like Ja Morant trying to be, like young boy.
My first love, meaning as a kid, 4 or 5 years old, it was music. Before,
And now Drake trying to be a basketball player too.
Pretending that I'm Bobby Brown or pretending that I'm Michael
NBA
Jackson.
standards basketball.
I remember
Court.
I had the Michael Jackson tape at 4
At
years
the,
old.
what was it called, the estate?
I just remember the love of listening to music. Then basketball came years later, because just like, everybody around the neighborhood is playing basketball. Of course, you're a kid, everybody's going to the NBA in their mind. That was me. But I think actual love, that from what you're saying, I'm clarifying it in my mind now. Actual first love, because to me, love is like, it's an action. You know what I mean? Like it's an action word in a sense, where it's like, it doesn't have to just be an action word, but in the sense of this question, I see it as an action word. So even when I was playing basketball, it was delusion. It was like I thought that I was just like a 6-year-old that thinks he's going to the NBA. You have Steph Curry that maybe thought he was going to the NBA, and had a good reason to think so. Maybe had early skills and early signs that put him on. Yeah, his dad played, right. So it's like
I can do this.
Yeah, it's not far fetched. But then you have me at 6. Yeah, I'm going to the NBA. It's like you're on no path. You don't have the early skills or early signs. It's just a delusion. So I think my love for basketball. Yes, I love playing. I was highly competitive, but my love was not in the form of work. I didn't have anybody to show me, hey, if you really love this thing and you really want to go do it, here's how you express your love for it, and this is how you get to where you want to go. I didn't have that. I had it was really play. It wasn't. Love is like hard in a sense. You know, it's like a family, like
Yeah,
having kids,
yeah,
having a wife,
yeah.
having a husband.
pain.
It's work,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
discipline, it's sacrifice. And the first thing I ever did that for in my life was music.
And did you think that you had a chance in music? Did you know? Because I'm around, you wonder why people, your children, talk to other musicians, their children's are musicians. They believe there's somebody that showed them this is possible, and they're around it. And then they think, well, my dad did it. It ain't no big deal. Same as the NBA. You got a lot of players that parents played, and once you break through that, I can do this too.
Yeah.
It actually, there's momentum to that.
Yeah.
So your kids, you probably already know this, their chances of being in music are exponentially great.
Yes.
Whether they're talented, just because they know dad does this.
Yep.
So what made you think that music could be that for you, or did you not think that way?
I did. I had delusion, and
Was
You
it
gotta
real
be
delusion?
delusional
Talk
damn
about
near.
NBA delusion. You go, that's just a dream every six.
Like you gotta
You thought it was
just
the
not
same
care
music.
and just be like, look, this is what I want to do.
As soon as I ever wrote my first rap,
Don't let no one limit you.
I'm the type of person where like,
You mean you had delusion, like I can do this in a good way?
yeah.
Because I'm
a
hearing
good-
it like,
okay, good, a good
because you said delusion.
I view delusion in two ways.
Okay,
One, this person has no clue. They're nowhere near what they're talking about.
Okay.
The other delusion that I view is not in a negative.
I got you.
You have to have a delusion.
So was the delusion about basketball?
Yes, my delusion about basketball was well, they were both equal.
I got you.
They were
I
both
understand.
equal. They were both
got it.
equally far-fetched, but they were both necessary.
I see.
If Steph Curry is not delusion, his father's doing it.
Yeah.
But maybe Allen Iverson is delusion. You know what I mean? Maybe that's delusion.
I
You
got
don't
you.
have the size.
Yeah,
you don't have
yeah.
a father who's
Yeah,
X,
yeah,
Y,
yeah,
Z.
yep.
So, but regardless, I think that anybody that's shooting for something
Yes.
extremely high, you have to start
Yeah.
with
A little
seed,
irrational.
A little irrational,
Yeah.
because if you were to let logic
Yeah.
or rationality,
you wouldn't
even
make it
start.
Because
Too many
everything,
obstacles.
Yes,
Yeah.
too many.
You gotta have faith,
odds-
bro.
Can't do that.
The
You
odds
can't
are in
do
your
that.
favor.
Have faith in the process.
But to your question, the delusion about music, I'm honestly that person till this day, and I really appreciate
It's
it
a
about myself.
strength
It's
for
a
you.
strength. When I start something, if I golfed for the first time seriously, like me and my friends really had like a competitive outing. I don't golf.
Yeah.
But I like saw improvement.
I
in the
gotta
day,
see that
and then in
if
the
they
next
recorded
day.
it.
So
I
my
doubt they
mind
did.
instantly
Those J.cole
goes
were
to.
talking
I
about.
still have the same delusion from when I was 6 and 12. My mind instantly goes to, I wonder how good I could get if I did this every day. But how good could I get? Could I, and I shoot for the highest thing that my mind will allow me to acceptable level of delusion, and then I try to say, well, maybe I'll get to that. And maybe I won't, but I start with a seed of delusion. So basketball was like that. It didn't pan out because I never.
But when you were
put in the work.
12 or 13 or 14, when you started thinking about life, they ask kids, what do you want to be? Would you have checked, or would you have thought rational? Would it start feeling like music is a better path for you, or was it always just like basketball's there?
Man,
Because you told me you got cut from your team,
yeah.
and that was the moment where it was shock. It was a shock to you.
Yep.
And then you told me what you did with it.
Yeah, I got cut twice, from 9th and 10th grade.
Yeah, and then
it's crazy.
You were
Right.
just, how does this happen to me?
And that's
yeah,
what
my-
you
told
my
me.
first
Playing for
time.
what?
Yeah,
This is the
you
first
were
time
kinda
I
like,
ever-
this
I wanna
isn't-
say?
I'm
The
supposed to be-
Rwandan basketball team.
Me?
Yeah.
I had
Maybe
no,
Uganda. No, I think it was Rwanda.
what do you call it, organized basketball experience outside of
Yeah.
rec.
Yeah.
I didn't play middle school because my middle
Yeah.
school didn't have a team. I went to some
Right.
little specialized middle school that they tried for the first time. So yeah, when I got cut my 9th grade year, I'm looking around like, well, how are you gonna cut me?
Yeah.
Instead of looking in the mirror, like, bro, you're not even really that good. Like,
Right.
I started making excuses. Oh, but I'm better than this guy, better than this guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the next year when I got cut again, where first time I had to look in the mirror,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, why did you get cut?
Yeah.
Oh, you never worked. You didn't. Did you?
But that was
outwork
all you
anybody?
that figured that out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a coach where you go, coach,
No.
and coach goes, you don't even
That's a
practice.
lot of
You don't
accountability
you don't
to
even
them.
try. It was you.
Yes, I had to.
'Cause a
realize
lot of
it.
people just
I
get
had to
stuck.
punched in the face 2 times. That was what gut. Those were. I love basketball so much
'Cause they don't
my
understand
delusion was
why.
high. So,
Yeah.
so to get
Maybe
cut
something
from
that
the
they want to
team was
do, they can't do.
I mean, I literally.
They don't
I
got
cried
what
when I looked
what
at
that
it. When I was
requires of
looking
them
at
just
it,
yet,
My name wasn't on there.
or at all, really.
You know? And so the second time, now I'm so grateful that I got punched in the face twice, because
Yeah.
it was like, well, wait a minute. If I only got punched that one time, and I know some people in my life, they get punched that one time,
And that's it.
they'll
Yeah.
never go try out again.
Yeah.
The pain of that was too much to ever go back.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that it was like, nah, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna try again.
Yeah.
And I got cut again, and it was the world saying, well, of course you got cut. Like, I had to take a look in the mirror. But to your question though, I forgot to mention this. where did the delusion come from?
Yeah.
I think I really believed, you know, when your parents tell you can do anything, you can be anybody. My mom was big on that.
Okay, I got you.
She was big on like filling me with you can do whatever. You know, Jermaine, you can do whatever you want to do.
That's a big.
Yeah.
A lot of people go the other way with that. That's interesting that your mom, like, you remember that part about you can do this, you can go do this.
Jermaine, you could be. And it wasn't even anything specific. Jermaine,
Were you like, I know? When you heard that, were you like, yeah? Or was it encouraged? Or did you need that?
I felt like I knew, but
it helps, mom.
But honestly, I mean, I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I think she was.
Yeah, she was hitting you with that.
She was like implanting that in me. So it was like, but I think the confidence I had was quiet. If you would have asked me when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 what I was gonna do, I would have never said out loud, I'm gonna be a rapper. I would have never told you that, because I believed it, but
Why wouldn't you tell me?
Because I knew that you wouldn't believe. And I didn't want anything that you had
negative,
to say. I didn't.
Because if you tell me and I go, come on, you're not gonna do that.
Yes.
You don't want to hear that.
I wouldn't even tell my mom. Like I went to school at St. John's because in my mind I'm like, at this time the music industry was way different, and the music industry was in New York.
Yeah.
It was starting to bud up.
Is that why you went to St. John's?
That's why I went to St. John's, because in my mind it was a quiet play of, I'm doing music at a high level. I know this is what I want to do. I have to be around the music industry. Delusion. I thought it was.
Tell anybody that? Why you chose St. John's?
No, that's what I'm saying. I never.
Nobody.
I never knew that, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
It's all inside. Even tell
You
my
know?
mom, like, is she the one that had to pay for the school? You know what I mean? I was just like, she
go
knew I
St.
wanted to go to New York, but I never said out.
yeah.
I never said out loud, Mom, I want to go to New York because I'm gonna be right next to the music industry and I'm gonna make it happen. I was like, yo, I have to keep all of this.
And then you do that, right? And you're there. And what was the first time you got recognition for what you were doing in a way where you could say, did something happen where your first album or mixtape where then you could say, yeah, this is what I'm doing?
In basketball, I never had any evidence that I was as good as I thought I did.
Okay.
Never. Like I could, against average guys, I could dominate. Yeah. But there was never a time where I went against the best player on the high school team.
Where you could really see it.
In music or in rapping at 13, 14, 15, 16, and my whole teenage years, I got that validation constantly because I would always go up, because there's a rap scene in Fayetteville where I'm from. Yeah. Lots of kids my age rapping all over the city, kids older than me rapping. In every situation around the city where there was a cipher is a bunch of dudes in a circle taking turns rapping, right? Somebody might be beatboxing, or maybe there's no beat, and everybody takes turns rapping. Every one of those moments I got in, which was frequent, maybe at least one night a week, sometimes 2 nights a week in different little locations. Maybe it's at the movies, maybe it's at the high school game, maybe it's in the hallway of the high school gym, maybe it's at the skating rink. Yeah. Every time one of them situations popped up and I stepped in, it was complete validation because the reaction was insane. You know, that it was probably what the top guys in basketball would feel when they're on their game.
So you knew you got that, but
I knew I had something.
I like how you used the word delusional in a positive way. So that made you what you are, right? That belief. But then you're getting it in music, in the ciphers and where you are. In basketball, you're kind of like, well, that'll come later, or you kind of know at that time.
I think around. Well, first of all, I get cut once. I get cut twice. I know I'm not that guy.
Okay, I got you.
There's no part of me that think I'm still that guy. No, now I recognize. Now I recognize the mountain that I gotta climb.
I got you.
My delusion, it was more realistic at this point. It was, do I want to climb this mountain? As a kid that just got cut 2 times from the team and had to work, by the time I was a senior, I was starting, had to work my way up to there. Do I want to continue to climb to be a college walk-on, to go from a college? I saw my future, like, yo, like if I work hard enough, because now I understand in basketball, I understand the power of hard work. If I work hard enough, I could walk onto a team. I believe in my ability to at least walk onto a team. But then if I work hard enough, could I get some consistent playing time by the time I'm a senior? If I do that, could I then go overseas, keep working, and be one of these, like, I remember Jamario Moon's name at the time. I always loved his story. Came out of nowhere, played in mad leagues, but you could tell to have that level of determination. It's like Gary Payton. It's like you just have a level of determination, and I saw that for myself possibly in basketball. But then I saw in music, it was couldn't do both. Right. So eventually at some point it was like, yo, exactly.
When was the moment where you said, this is gonna be my life. This is my career. I can do this, and you just knew that, or did you always?
There was no other option. That was always.
That was it. That was gonna happen.
That was gonna happen. There was no.
Was there anybody that you respected when they said to you, "Hey, you're great at this"? Like, was there one moment where somebody, some kind of like reaction to what you did, some person coming up to you?
Oh, lots of those. When I was
Jay?
you know, all of those moments I told you about in the ciphers, when I would just, you know, say a line and the whole cipher would disperse, like it's like a movie moment, like 8 Mile or something. Oh,
Yeah.
those were validation moments. There was a group in Fayetteville called Bomb Shelter that when I was 14, 15, I linked up with because I was like, yo, they're from my city. They do professional sounding music, and they were amazing to me. So the first time I went over there and recorded a song and I saw everybody's reaction to the song that I recorded, it was more validation. When I played this song for my friends, you know what I mean, and I got the reaction from them, more validation.
When did it become this mute? Like, I gotta. There's the part where you just love doing what you're doing, and then you realize how am I gonna? What image? Who am I gonna be in this business? Like, what do I want to be? How do I stay true to what you do? Because I'm sure a lot of people are telling you, you got to do this, you got to do that, and it seems to me, I know you, not super well, but a little bit. You're kind of like, you're pretty strong about this is what I'm doing. I can hear what you have to say, but I'm going this way. And that seems not that hard for you. But I don't want to diminish all the polling that you had.
No,
You got to do this, you got to do that. It seems to me you're pretty centered and peaceful in what you choose. But there's got to be pressure in that, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? And then you get more successful, and then more people are telling you how to live, how to be. How do you kind of stay with you?
I mean, I had to learn that lesson, obviously, through the years. You know, I was very confident in the beginning and very, like, sure of myself, and sure of, like the things that me and my team are excited about. I got a partner, Eve, you met Eve, and we've been rocking like this from very early on. So I was very confident in that in the beginning, and then, you know, you get a few projects in or out, you know, the pressure starts to build, it's not going exactly how you wanted it to go, and then the pressure hits. You know, like when the pressure hits, that's
Do you remember when that happened?
Oh,
was
yeah,
there like a moment? Or was it just,
I mean, yeah, it was over a number of years.
Yeah.
It took me a while to even
Feel
recognize it. Yeah,
But it
well,
was
I was
happening.
always feeling it, but
Yeah.
it took me a while to recognize that, oh wait, this has been here for a few
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean, this thing. But once I felt that, this was like maybe 2 albums in. Once I felt that, the minute I recognized that this feeling, this pressure had been causing me to move a certain way and make certain decisions, once I became fully aware of it and like had that honest conversation with myself, now came like the remedy steps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, what do you do about this? How do you fix this? And that answers your question about, that's when I began to move more true to get back in tune with what's true to me.
what was pushing you? Did you feel like you were getting pushed outside?
And my bad, Joe, if I'm not talking enough, I'm just in the zone. I'm really like immersing right now. I'm trying to
You got to change your image. What was pushing you?
just
What felt authentic to you?
and
Yeah, I think,
like
What was it? You gotta
just
make
be in
more
this
album.
moment, I
don't
guess.
know.
I was gonna say
It
embody,
was,
but that's not even the right word to use.
It was, man, it's hard to explain but at that time, and probably still, rap music specifically, very nuanced and opinionated game. It's not like basketball where it's like, yo,
It still is. What you mean?
if you won, you won. We know who won the championship last
sure,
year.
Yeah.
You know, there's no opinion about
yeah.
who won the championship last year. Like, nah, like y'all got that. Basketball is not like that. Music is not like that. Music is almost like, at least at that time, music is music, but the sport of rap, is more like if to win the championship, you had to get all this panel of journalists
he is right, though.
and fans to vote, a mixture of MVP voting and All-Star voting combined determines who's gonna have the crown. and that was always important to me as a kid rapping. It wasn't just, I want to make it as a rapper. No, I'm competitive. I want to be hands down known as nobody's coming close. You know what I mean? And I think it's the same, honestly, with a lot of basketball players who strive for that top tier. The absence, when you're not getting that universal praise of I'm hands down the best, I think it could cause some tension.
And you had to let go of that?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I had to let go of that.
So did you think you deserved it?
Do I from now think I deserve it?
Then, when you were in that moment, you're like, why aren't they?
Of course.
Okay.
Similar to the kid that got.
But do you think? So you're sitting there going, why is it not coming? And then you realized, I can't wait. I can't do it for that.
Yeah. And actually,
because you realize that's not what it's about,
and it actually never was. Yes, I was competitive, and yes, I always wanted to be in the cypher or amongst any rappers that I knew or any rappers that you heard. Yes, I wanted to be the best. The same way when I step on the basketball court, even back then, the best guy on the other team, I want to guard him. I want him to guard me. I want to
Of course.
I want to quietly destroy.
That's why it's like, bro, when Tenkaichi 4 comes out, bro, I'm trying to scrap with boys, you know what I'm saying?
So although that was a part of it, still the dominant thing of why I did music was because it was a love and a passion, and it was the first thing in my life that I could sit down for hours and hours and hours and just stay on this journey until I'm done writing this song, or until and I could sit and record for hours, just done from love. So I think at a certain point, the desire for that started to overcome.
The process started getting lost.
Yeah. So I had to.
And what is that person? The thing you wanted, that number one, what does that rapper get? What do you get?
First of all, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
It's never existed. But you know what it was back then? It was the critical. It was I had.
You needed
Oh man, I had what I had was almost to the point where I wasn't even appreciating it because I was so worried about the thing that I didn't have. But what I had was like this love from people and everyday people that live in their life to this music, you know what I mean? And like really like, bro, this got me through such and such moment. They're really resonating with what I'm saying. But there was not
the fans.
From a critical standpoint, the journalists, a certain type of journalists too, honestly. I realized it was like, it's a certain segment of that it was just like, oh man, they not even.
And that's what you were.
Oh, I mean, it was just
crazy.
It's just one of the things that wasn't there.
Sure.
So I never grew up like, I want you guys to love me. But in the midst of the game, when it wasn't there, it was like, wait, why is that not over there? And then you start focusing on, like you start looking more at least I did, start looking more at like the lack more than the surplus.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
Like,
that was
what's
a
missing?
big
What
part
aren't
of
you
what I
getting?
didn't have was like that side of things, as well as there was other. It wasn't like unanimous amongst the people, but that was the stuff that really like got to me. Like I remember really being like, you know, why am I not on that list right there? Like it's like they only put one of those songs over there, but this song is better than that.
Yeah, they really got J.Cole in top 15 best like rappers of all time. I don't agree. I think it was top 15, right?
That were like
The thing that Billboard released earlier this year.
It took me a while to like catch
I don't agree with that, but
What did the
okay,
Grammy do for
you know.
And what did it not do?
Oh,
Because I only understand.
As a
when
J.
you
Cole fan, damn near a J.
Oh,
Cole
yeah,
stan
yeah.
at times,
What
I
does the
just,
championship
I
mean?
don't know, bro.
I'll tell you what it means, and I'll tell you what it doesn't mean. So for a Grammy for you,
nowhere.
what do you mean nowhere? What is it? What do you mean?
Nah, like I used to have a Grammy, like you know how you put a screensaver on your computer back in the days or whatever.
I think, 21.
Important to me. Like
That was literally his first Grammy. That's
had
nuts,
I won
though.
it early on,
Like the
it
fact
would've
that a lot was the
validated,
one that he got a Grammy with.
all of those feelings I had for
Versus
it. I'm
everything
man,
else.
and maybe it would have felt.
But it
like
kind
a
of goes to
championship
show
that way,
like
but
how
I'm
much
sure
Grammys really don't matter,
the
bro.
fact that it didn't happen, and then it didn't happen, and then it didn't happen, it allowed me to even
Remember, J. Cole
reflect now and be like, wait a minute.
went double platinum with
First
no
it was-
features. Don't ever forget it, bro.
Why they not rocking with me? Boom, boom, boom. And then after time and like you know, more time of sitting with myself, it becomes clear that it's like, oh wait a minute, like, you know, those things weren't for you, you know. And then when it actually came, it was almost like I'm not in love with this thing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so it couldn't feel like a champ. And not to mention, bro, I won a Grammy with somebody else.
Yeah.
It ain't even like I was on. It was me as a
yeah,
feature on somebody's
yeah,
song. It
yeah.
ain't for nothing I did.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
My Grammy, but to your, I think this will answer your question a little better. Like, that's nowhere close to a championship to me, the Grammy. But there was an album that felt like a championship. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There was the
yeah.
releasing of an album.
Yeah.
There was
That
a,
was the- yeah.
yeah, the making of
Born
this
Center's
album I got called
Born
14
Center's
Drive,
like
and the
like
releasing
the
of it,
Western
and
Conference
that
champions.
was a championship
Yeah.
run.
But like
In
2014
the way
Forest
that,
Hills
like,
Drive is like,
you know,
okay,
I would
NBA
look at
champion
how
type shit. You know what I'm
the Bulls
saying?
look at,
Yeah.
you know, the Last Dance, or how you guys look at one of you guys' championship. Like, that was the feeling. So, and then guess what? That album didn't win a Grammy, and it's like it meant nothing. Like it didn't. A Grammy didn't increase my enjoyment or decrease my enjoyment. If that album would have won a Grammy, it would have
Fucked him up.
It wouldn't have added.
Yeah,
you know what I
sure,
mean. It
yeah.
wouldn't have changed my experience.
If that was
you know what I
like,
mean?
you know,
and the fact that it
what he
didn't
wanted to
win didn't
attain.
change my experience. It was like that. That was what a championship felt like to me.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we
Why are you looking at him like that, J.Cole?
2015
Relax, my
won,
boy.
and
Where they got these
it was
memes, where they get
overwhelming.
memes on
And
you, my
in
boy.
2016, we had the best record ever. Beat the Bulls, 73-9, and we lost. That was the year we were down 3-1.
sure.
We lost to
Yes.
LeBron, and most people would say pretty.
Oh, yeah,
pretty
2016,
cavalier.
that's when the
It
Cavs won,
doesn't
right?
matter. You guys
I
didn't win the
think.
championship. And I heard that a lot. You guys blew it. And then I realized, for me, I said, I get to decide what that 73-9 means.
There you
for
go.
me, you know, I get to do that. You don't get to do that.
Yep.
Just like you don't get to decide. I don't decide what a Grammy means for you.
Yeah.
I don't decide. You don't decide what a championship means for me,
Yes.
or that
Yeah.
record, or whatever it is. But you're much more. I can't imagine being you in a world as known as you are, where people are telling you how to feel. How do you choose? Like, who gets in your life? Because I can imagine being. I would be kind of closed. I would be almost unhealthy. I don't want to hear what anybody has to say.
Mm-hmm.
But you're 6 years old, going like, I got this. That it almost strikes me as you're the type of guy that. Who do you ask for help? Who helps you?
I got close
It's
friends.
people that are like, hey,
Yes, I got close friends and family in my corner that I could talk to.
I feel like those
If I
chairs
ever
are
need
probably
to.
getting mad uncomfortable at this
Those are
point.
there. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I feel blessed and lucky to be like this, but I'm a self-soother, and not in a way that's like, in a way that's dangerous or in a way that's like, no, like I've from a very young age, I've become very good at problem solving, self-correcting, self-reflecting, self-adjusting.
Bro,
letting
yo, this is
something
why I
go,
fucking love
you know,
J.Cole, man.
recognizing if I'm not letting something go.
It's like I can
Doing the
relate
proper
so
work
much.
that I
I'm
need
not
to
saying
do.
I'm J.Cole by any
So,
means, in
I'm
whatever
not
facet of, you know, let it be
Like the
YouTube
day-
or my
the
job or
years that I
whatever,
told you
whatever.
about,
But
that was overwhelming.
Yeah.
And
I resonate with this
donuts.
so
There's
much.
things that I talk about that part of my life
Eventually
now.
I'll get there, though.
With people that are close to me that were around back then, and it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even know that was happening to you. You know, like that's their reaction to me. So yes, I have people. If I need people, I have people that I can go to. But I honestly prefer even to just to do that on my own.
how personal? People say one of the healthiest things any of us can do is journal. In your music, do you feel like you're journaling? Like how personal? What song that you wrote or lyrics was the most raw? Was the most like, this is me?
Oh man, it's too much. It's too many.
There's a lot of them.
No, it's so many.
Because I think that's kind of healthy.
Yeah, that's
'Cause you know what
you're
I'm
making
saying?
a great point. Yes, you're making a great point. And for me, in the beginning,
'Cause it's kinda like-
especially,
yeah.
that was it. That was my way of venting, saying. That was my way of communication. Even was, and that back then it was much easier because nobody was listening. You know what I mean? Now it's like, yeah, actually, if I write it, even it's like, I don't know if I even want y'all to hear
Well,
that.
people hear. I got you.
But it's still the same therapeutic process of like getting it off, and so yeah, that helps. But more so than that, honestly, man, it's like honest conversations with myself. You know what I mean? Like that is more healthy even for me than journaling. Like checking in with myself. How you feeling? What's going on? You feeling a little different? Okay, what is that? Oh, what can you do about that? Well, maybe we should, you know. do a little meditation, maybe we should just look at it a different way. Maybe you should just let that go. Like, and even how I'm saying it, I don't even think there's words. You know, it's just a feeling.
Well, it's
like
interesting because we talked. I saw you in New York, and I asked you about what you were doing, and you were telling me there was a certain place where you could write. Remember we were talking about where you could write music.
Yep.
And you hadn't been in that environment.
Yes.
In a while, and then you were like, I forgot this is a place I write.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to me. To do what you do, you have to be really in touch with yourself, right? Because you can't fake. I'm not handing you lyrics.
Yeah.
And you're just singing them.
Yeah.
There's a difference between writing a book and reading a book.
Yeah.
And you're doing both, and you're sending it out to the world. So I guess what's interesting.
That better not
I
be
hear
a
what
so
you're
bad
saying,
Drake.
and
I know
like,
that's
wow, How
right.
does somebody take all that in by themselves? But then you have to be in touch with you to write.
There you go.
Right?
Yes. I spend a lot of time by myself. Like, I spend a lot of time with myself. Not by myself because I'm constantly surrounded by family, but when it's work time.
Because nobody can help you do.
There you go. I'm the only one. I'm the only one that can at least get it out the way that's pure. I could always.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a time in my life in the future where it's like I'm more collaborative. I'm not even working on my things. Boom, boom, boom. I actually love when like producing for other people, like and being able to having it not be about me. But as long as it's my thing, I got to spend a lot of time with myself and in my thoughts. And that's always been me. There was only that few year period I had in my life where that was like unhealthy because my thoughts were spiraling, and I didn't quite yet at that age have the awareness to know where how low they had gotten, and then B, I didn't have the tools yet to self-correct. Now in my older age and maturity, it's like, oh wait, I'm way more aware when something's going on, if something's going on, and then have way more tools on deck for myself to like self-correct.
Caesars Sportsbook is
What the
not
fuck
just
is
an
this?
app, it's a whole empire. Iconic casinos, hotels, world-class restaurants. It's all yours with Caesars Rewards. Because every bet you place, win or lose.
As far as being a
I
leader,
don't give no
think
fucks about
yourself,
that shit.
Or in your industry, do you even talk about it like that way?
No.
You don't.
I don't look at myself like that because it's like
You don't even.
I just don't even
Think like that.
Yeah, it never
Yeah.
even enters my mind. But when you
I
say
just
that,
peeped
I'm
the
sure
Omaha in the corner.
I'm sure
Was I
there's
there the whole
someone
time?
out there who's like, you know, who's in the same way that I did, looked at people that I don't actually know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
As a North Star and guiding light to get to where I want to be. You know what I mean? And yes, I had those along the way. I had when I was a kid, I was Tupac'd out, Nas'd out, and Jay-Z, Kanye, Lil Wayne, Andre 3000. So, you know, I have these life-changing people who in some way, shape, or form I was looking at as for guidance, whether it be creatively, musically, or like just how I thought they were living their life. But the truth is, even the kid that out there that like, you know, maybe views me as a leader, he doesn't really know how I'm living day to day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he just has to fill in the blanks.
What
the best
would
he
you
can.
say? Let's say
Hurts.
this doesn't happen in your. Sometimes I
False
teach or
prophets.
They ask me to come speak to students. It's different in your industry. I'm sure you've spoke to people. What if it was sitting out there with kids from 12 to 18 or 10, and they're all from all over the U.S. or anywhere, and they're like, "Hey, tell me what to do. Tell me how to get to where you are."
I think there's two key ingredients, maybe three, but one is see yourself as high as you possibly could see yourself, right? So if someone wants to, like, be in the NBA, like they want to be an NBA player, to me that's not enough.
Yeah.
There's a wide range of NBA players, right?
Yeah.
There's an NBA player that never saw the floor. You know, he sat at the end of the bench his whole career, and they never re-upped his contract, and then he had to go fight in the G League, and boom, boom, boom. He was in the NBA.
Yeah.
LeBron James is in the NBA.
Yeah.
Who do you see yourself as? And there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Clarify and define your vision for yourself in the highest possible way that you could see it. Do you want to be a 12-time All-Star?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a league MVP? Do you want to be, you know, you want to set the three-point shooting record? Be as specific and see yourself as high as you possibly can, right? That's your first job, is to see it as high as you can see it. Be delusional even. To the
Okay,
point
okay,
where
I'm
you
listening,
can
I'm
tell your
listening.
mind the
I'm
way
listening. I'm
that
taking
you
mental
can
notes
your
right
mind as
now.
much as possible.
You know what I'm saying?
Push past that even a little bit and define it. And then Number 2 is like believe it. You know what I mean? Like see it all the time and believe it, and whatever you gotta do to protect that belief. My version of protecting that belief was I wasn't sharing this.
Yeah, you
I wasn't even telling my mom. She knew I rapped.
Yeah.
She knew I did music, and to her it
Don't
was
let
like
somebody knock you off.
I'm not even gonna give my own mother the chance to try to bring me back down to reality. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like not
Came
gonna
full
happen.
circle now.
Number 1, dream as high as you possibly can. See yourself. Not even dream. See yourself as high as you possibly can.
Be a dreamer.
Find that.
The dreamer.
Don't just say I want to do such and such. Because if you mess around and get such and such, you're gonna be mad that you didn't think about higher. There's a lot of people that do that. They're like, man, why didn't I think
Keep
about
that in mind.
being this instead of just this? Because at the time you thought just this was it. But do the thought work and see where you really want to be.
Yeah.
2, believe that it's possible and protect that belief. And then 3 is work towards it. You have to do the work. And because you love it, it's not always gonna feel like work, but sometimes it is. I'm sure there's times where Steph is
This interview
gym
picking
or,
up
like,
now.
waking
Now
up
he's
and-
speaking to me.
I don't really actually want to go strength train, or I really don't really want to go put these shots up. I'd rather chill with the family, but I'm gonna go do it because I know my ultimate goal is championship. My ultimate goal is X, Y, and Z. So he goes and does it, and then within the work, he probably finds joy when he's there. I'm assuming. Never had this conversation with him, but I'm assuming while he's putting up his shots, while he's working on his moves, while he's doing strength, he finds the enjoyment and the presence in it. But it's still work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's still work. So those are like the 3 things that I would tell anybody, whether they're 10 years old or 30 years old. You have to see yourself in the highest, and the world will fill in the rest. You know what I mean? Like,
the last thing you said is about
Very
loving
well
the
said.
process,
Very well said.
right? Because if you don't love the like you're right. If you every time
At least for me, I don't know if this shit resonates for everyone else, but for me, it's like, bro, I got you. Like, you know.
But if you get excited doing it and you look up and you go, man, I've been doing this 3 hours. It feels like 10 minutes.
yes.
That's the greatest of the guys. Because there's talent, right? In your music, you won't say who it is, but you go, that dude's talented. He doesn't work, or she's great. She doesn't work.
Right.
Or that person's not that talented, but they work. Yeah. Now you get both. You get where you want it. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
You get talent and hard and loving the process, and doing it for the reasons that you started doing it for, which were because you love it. And you can push back on the fame and the money and the noise and go, no, I'm going to keep doing this for the reason I started doing it. And you like it. But that's hard, especially with, like, in our business, guys get guaranteed money.
Yes.
You can score 2 points tonight, you can score 50, and you're getting paid the same amount.
Yes.
So
Complacency is
different.
It's hard
different.
to it's hard to not get complacent.
Yeah.
Like, actually, no, I guess you could say it's hard, but you have to work. You have to do the work to find new ways to fall in love with it. And yes, there's many ways to fall out of love with it, right?
Yeah.
Time, money, success, bitterness, things didn't go the way you wanted to go. There's many ways to, like, reasons to retract.
Yeah.
But if it's a high goal, you set the highest goal, I think that's the problem. Like, people.
I think they're afraid. I think a lot of people are afraid. You don't seem like you were to set that goal.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
There you go. I know what you're saying. Yes.
I was afraid.
Yeah,
if you would have told me I want to be GM, and I met you, and we were talking, and you said, hey, why don't you?
Oh, got you. So
win
he's the
more
GM of the
championships? I
Chicago
would've told
Bulls.
you.
I'm guessing he's the GM of the Chicago Bulls,
Don't say
or at least maybe he was.
I just want to try and do it the right. I'm not you.
Yeah,
That's pretty unique to.
Because I'm like, I do not know this man
But even when you're
respectfully.
saying it,
I don't keep up with sports,
feel that's
but I
rooted.
can keep up
I
if
don't-
I need to, whatever.
I'm
You
envious of
know,
that. I'm
That's the
kinda
best
like,
way
I
to
wish
describe
I thought
me.
that way.
Man, you know what I'm envious of too? To that point is because I also think that, like, the way that I said is valid for someone that wants to live that life, but I also think another valid way to live is, I'm envious of people who don't have strong desire or strong vision and don't have something. And they live a peaceful life and an enjoyable life, and it's like, I go to work.
Yeah.
I like my job.
Yeah.
I like my salary. I'm not
trying to
stupid rich, but I love my family.
Yeah,
I come
I'm good.
home.
Yeah.
Life is
Simple.
amazing, and they live their life like that. And I think that is just as valid.
Yeah.
I think they're equally valid, and I don't think I don't think anyone should feel, because I've come across people who maybe, because we live in a society and a culture that pushes.
Yeah.
It's like a hustle culture.
Never know.
You work hard,
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. And I think people.
what cost?
I think people.
Yeah,
could
if you're not
feel
making 6 figures,
almost,
you're not making nothing. Blah, blah,
guilty
blah,
or,
blah, blah,
like,
blah, blah,
insufficient
blah.
for not having some great dream to dream. And I'm like, no,
It's okay.
it's a blessing to be satisfied,
Yeah.
to be at peace,
Be grateful.
to be, yes,
Yeah.
to be content with life. You know what I mean? Like, I have this job, I have this family,
Yeah.
I have
this
this.
is music, but I don't need to be.
Yeah,
here.
I don't need to
Yeah.
be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that I'm envious of
It's
that.
interesting you would say that because you live and you've met the people you've met people that are supposed to be the best people, right? And then you realize this person's not great. They're just rich or they're just famous. And then you see that family you're talking about, that hypothetical guy or husband or wife has a job and they come home and they're happy. And you look at it like, that's not better than that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But our society doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You understand? Like we're fighting because when you're on Instagram or Twitter, that person's
The
life,
capitalistic country we live in, you know what I'm saying?
that life is not.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around that person.
Not everyone wants to make money and be
but-
the richest
but
person,
that's
but you know,
When you
ugh,
I think I would love everybody to meet all these people.
money is power to a certain
Okay.
degree.
You met them. Now what? Well, I don't really want to hang out with them. They weren't very nice.
Yep.
And then you go, there's a nice family over here. What's wrong with that?
For sure.
Not famous.
Yes.
You know. So, last question. What do you hope? I ask a lot of people this one, like with your children, like if you could wish a life for them. Because I tell people, I'll help you as you think. A lot of people, you see these parents at a sporting event with their children, and they're going crazy. You're gonna see. I've seen it. I kind of look at the parents. I go, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And then their kid's the best kid, or their kid's not playing enough, or something's not fair. And I look at them. I go, what do you hope happens? Like, what are you hoping for here? well, I hope my kid gets a scholarship. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so, but you've been traveling around the world. You're gone every weekend. You know, your other kids are here. This kid's better than them, so you're with him all the time or her. So they get a scholarship. Then what? Well, then I don't have to pay for college. Okay, so what happens to the kid? That I hope. Then what do you hope happens after the scholarship? Mm-hmm. Well, that they're the best player on the team. Okay, so what does that mean? So then we'll go to the games. I'm like, okay, you're gonna move to the college. You're gonna go to all their games. Then what? Well, I want them to go pro. Okay, what do you think that is? Well, then be rich. Okay, so there's a lot of different levels of being a professional athlete.
yeah,
What if you want them to play? Oh, I want them to be the MVP. Okay, do you know what comes with that? Do you know how hard? Like, do you know what that is? Do you know what kind of life that is? Sheesh. So you talk these. I'm like, I've seen this path, and I go, what about like? I just want my kid to be decent kid or a husband or father. You know,
Sure.
But
Just have fun.
They may not be you. You know, I don't
Enjoy
know
what
you
you're
want.
doing.
I don't even know.
No,
Like,
I don't even.
I don't know.
Honestly, I don't even think about those things. Like, of course, there's curiosity.
Yeah,
about,
there's
curiosity
where's it
about
gonna go?
what will become,
Yeah.
what will the interest be. But there's no wish or hope in terms of what it is. It's more
What about
curiosity
who?
about what. I think my wish and my hope is more like I just want you to cut down the time that it took me to the thing that I learned at 30.
Yeah.
I hope you can learn at 15 or
Yeah,
16.
yeah.
I just want you to be able to cut down on, I want you to be able to learn the lessons that can lead you to peace quicker.
Sure.
Because I know what life is like trying. I know what life is like, and when I say trying in this context in a bad way, I know what life is like to not be living in your
Purpose.
peace and your comfort and your confidence. And I know what life is like
Peace too.
to be living in your confidence. And you know what I mean? So it's like the time that it took me to get there on a more permanent basis, I flirted with it in my childhood and in my teens and in my 20s, but was never solidified in it. You know what I mean? It was always attaching it to something.
yeah.
But I think that I just hope, that's what I hope for them is like, yo, whatever comes after that is it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? As long as you feel at peace and comfortable and you know, and that's really it. Like that would be the biggest blessing. Everything after that is a bonus. Once you just enjoy life on a content level, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
It's the difference between a person that needs this, and I was probably that. I wanted this. I had this desire and this goal.
But there's a weight with that, right? There's a weight. That
There
comes
you
with
go.
that. Yeah.
And then the absence of that is hurting.
Yeah.
And I feel like true peace is I can have this desire, but the absence of that desire is not
gonna
You know,
take
it's
away
not.
from me.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
We passed that little cupcake spot that I go to on the way here.
Yeah.
Like, I love this spot.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, I have a desire for this cupcake. If I don't get it today,
Yeah.
it's cool,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
maybe
the
I'll
end
get
of
it
the
another
world.
time.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the absence of that isn't pulling at me. But I think a lot of us, we have this high thing that we think the peace will come.
Well,
once we get
that's
that.
for me. Like, and I'll finish. You know, that's why I asked about the Grammy. Some people think the Ferrari, the mansion, the Grammy, the NBA champ, they think that does it. There's this like
Right.
mythical,
Yeah.
once I get $1 million, once I get a platinum record,
Yeah.
Nope.
and I tell people like, I hope you get it so you can see,
Yeah, it doesn't do nothing.
because if you never
Yeah.
get it, you always think it's the answer.
Yes, man.
And then you miss all the other answers.
Man,
but I
that's
go, I
hard.
hope whatever, if you go, I got to do this. If you were 20 years old, I'm like, what do you want? I got to get a Grammy. I go, I hope you get that.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, why? I go, because you're going to realize that's one small part of this whole. And I would say the sooner you figure it out, like you said about your kids,
Yeah.
the sooner you get that Grammy, you're going to realize
Yeah.
you get it when you're 70, you're going to have wasted a lot of time
40 years.
thinking that was the thing.
40 years.
But
That's what's far.
yeah,
I
Here you
relate
go.
to that for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, this is a good interview. Good interview for sure. It's not what I kind of expected it to be as far as like a it's I don't know. Like I do like to see at least some of the artists that I really like kind of bridge the gap in that way. And maybe they don't always have to go to a Breakfast Club or whatever because they already done that. But still, I mean, I think it was a pretty solid interview. Like, I don't know this Bob Myers individual, respectfully. He said he was a GM. He said something about Chicago Bulls, so I'm just guessing he was the Chicago Bulls GM. But I still see the connectivity, or like, I see the connective tissue there because it's like, you know, J. Cole, he loves music, but he also loves basketball. And I think there's a good balance of talking about both. I feel like at times it was kind of him, like J. Cole talking about like his upbringing. And I learned some new stuff. I did not know J. Cole was smoking cigarettes at 6 years old, bro. I did not know that. I did not know that one of my favorite rappers was doing that. I do not condone that whatsoever. I definitely don't condone it at all. But it's like, it's funny to kind of learn new things. That's kind of why, like, I always love watching interviews for some of my favorite rappers that, like, I really enjoy listening to. And for an artist like J. Cole, to me, like, J. Cole is inspirational, you know? J. Cole's music, his story, how he carries himself outside of music, and just an all-around person that I feel is always very insightful in his interviews. I always enjoyed that aspect of him. Like, that's why to a certain degree I didn't want to talk too much, because I'm watching this just like y'all. If y'all are watching this because you're a J. Cole fan, even possible stan like me, and you just enjoy what he has to say, that's why I didn't really say too much. Like, I just want to listen. Like, I really got good towards the end as far as like what like advice that he would give to, you know, someone. That really resonated with me. It seems like he's a self-reflective person. Always being mindful of everything he does. When he makes mistakes, he's gonna course correct almost immediately. Like, I very much so, at least into my day-to-day life, like outside of YouTube and Twitch, socials, all that stuff, like, just my real life, I resonate with that. I do. I truly do. Like, but at the same time too, it's like I'm kind of at capacity. Like, these interviews sometimes do help these artists sell more records, whatever. But I'm at capacity with J. Cole. Like, it's at this point, it's like, bro, I'm just watching you because I still, like, I love your music, bro. I love your story. I love what you do. I love the festivals. You know, I fuck with you. So, like, that's really all it is for me. I really also enjoy, like, what he said about his kids as far as, like, what he would want them to do, and I wholeheartedly support it. Like, I completely agree with it. Like, I would want my child to do the same. There's a lot of mistakes that I've made that are not even mistakes, but things that I wish I did sooner. Like, sometimes I do wish I did YouTube like 10 years ago. because there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing now that I could have been doing then. There's a lot of gaming that I did back then that I could have been doing that. Like, bro, I used to play Tenkaichi 3 so much when I was younger. That could have been video content, but I didn't know how to go about it or anything like that. Also, like, when I was a teenager, I was a little bit lazy. I'm still lazy now, but I'm a lot more intentional with my time, so it kind of helps balance it out. So I definitely understand that for sure, and I will want my child to be able to understand that, like, look, talk to me, talk to your mom, talk to your family. Like, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. Like, I live my life a certain type of way so that you don't have to live your life a certain type of way, you know what I'm saying? And then ultimately, so you can be successful in whatever you want to do. I'm not going to be like, oh, I want you to become a YouTuber, the biggest YouTuber. I don't want you to become the biggest music artist or president or whatever, doctor, teacher, whatever you want to do. Just, I feel like as long as you're passionate about it and you have the right mindset about it, and of course, realistically, like, be able to live a happy life on your own terms, I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day, and just have faith and love the process, and that's it, honestly. Yeah, but yeah, I hope y'all really enjoyed this interview, this kind of little bit of a therapy session at the end, I guess, maybe, just maybe. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, if you do see me on Dreamville, say what's up. Peace.